Zion Williamson, not on the basketball court, but still taking shots from former teammate JJ Redick, who said Zion is a distant teammate, criticized him for not reaching out to new teammate CJ McCollum. Joining me now from Locked On Pelicans, it's Jake Madison. And Jake, why is this distant teammate criticism something that has taken off this way? Why does this resonate so much, do you think?
You know, I think the main reason is because Zion has been silent. We have not heard from him since Media Day, all the way back in September. And I think there's one thing we all know in 2022 at this point, that if you don't control the narrative, other people are going to control it for you and fill in the blanks. And that's what is happening, not just in the national media around Zion, but with Pelicans fans too, I think. They're trying to figure out why this guy isn't reaching out to his new teammate, why he said he was going to be back for the first real game of the regular season. That hasn't happened. And so it's been setback after setback and issue after issue. Sorry. Issue after issue. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. And I think you have the specter of Anthony Davis and the way he forced his way out, kind of leaning over everyone's shoulder. And that kind of leads us to the mess that we're in today.
Yeah, it does seem like the potential exit for Zion, he's not really all in on New Orleans. He's already got one foot out the door. He's already looking at New York real estate kind of narrative seems to be coloring all of this. How fair do you think that perspective is?
I don't think it's totally accurate, but I'm also not going to say it's inaccurate. And I'll take it a little bit of a step further. If you were to ask me if I think Zion Williamson is going to be in a Pelicans uniform next season, I'm not 100% certain on that right now. There is definitely, and I've spoken on this on my show a lot, a rift and kind of an icy relationship between him and the franchise for whatever reason. Maybe that's just who he is. Maybe he just didn't want to be here in the first place. Or maybe it's just they made mistakes his first 2 years that really rubbed him the wrong way. Or maybe it has something to do with the training staff. Because of all of that, it feels like he's looking to go elsewhere and maybe does have one foot out the door. New Orleans has a history of this with Chris Paul, with Anthony Davis, to a lesser extent with Eric Gordon as well. And so I think fans, at the very least, are worried about getting burned again. And we're seeing history repeat itself just a little bit.
On the other side of this, though, yes, what we've seen from Zion on the court is terrific. He was, when he was healthy, a dominant offensive player at the very least, but we haven't seen him on the court consistently. There have been rumors about his weight fluctuations. We've seen some of the photos around him. This is not the Anthony Davis situation where we've seen him be an all NBA caliber player, even as injured as Anthony Davis was at times. So to what degree do you think it makes sense for New Orleans to just say, okay, look, we're going to move heaven and earth, whatever you want, Zion. If you want a new GM, you want a new coach, whatever you want, we'll do it.
You know, they've done a lot of that, I think. And that's why this is also very frustrating, right? Prior to him being drafted, they pulled Aaron Nelson away from the Phoenix Suns, one of the better medical training staffs in the league, a group that has resurrected the career of Shaq, kept it going of Steve Nash. I could throw other names in there too. They've done pretty much anything he's asked. This is the guy who's getting one of the suite rooms that they get when they're on the road, even when he's not playing. They've kept injuries quiet at the bequest of his camp and his people. You know, they are letting him be in Portland right now, away from the team, which is not their choice, even though they'll spin it that way, instead of forcing him, which they could do, to be here in New Orleans rehabbing. They're acquiescing to basically anything he wants, and it still feels like this isn't going well. And I think part of that is you have two different takes on how to handle his injuries, and he's been injury prone his career so far. I think the team feels he should have another surgery on his foot, and I believe his camp feels he can just rehab through it and then he'll be able to get back out on the court. And they don't like him looking vulnerable. They want him to feel invincible. That's why they asked for some of these injuries to be kept quiet. So you have these two sides that are really butting heads on what do we do with this injury. And because of that, he's just kind of left the team and been very distant, to the point where he won't even return the call of CJ McCollum, who's the president of the Players Association, and his new teammate. And so I don't think that they haven't done enough to try and keep him. I think this is one of those situations where there's blame on both sides. The Pelicans have made some mistakes. They've worked on trying to rectify that, but maybe the damage is just irreparable there. But I think you also have this 21-year-old who just isn't grown up enough to be able to maturely handle a situation like that, and realizes that even if you're angry at the team, you're a professional basketball player, you need to call your teammate back. You need to be part of the organization, even if you eventually want to leave. So the way I look at this is there's blame everywhere, and it's heavily on both sides.